Hey there, this is Tim with an Elite Dangerous video, and although I'm a little bit late doing this, I've had a busy week. I'm just going to take a look at Beta 3, which is new on Tuesday, I think it came out, and just kind of take you through some of the new features which some of you might not have seen. Most of you that already have it probably have. I couldn't see anything really new in the graphics. But I could see some new things in the sound where you could actually turn certain voice notifications off, which is quite nice really, and you could obviously kind of personalize things, and they're building a foundation for the future, basically allowing you to do that. And I'm just going to show you that audio section now. Now while I'm doing that, I have to say that this build is massive. There's so many small but significant changes that this video isn't going to do it justice. It really isn't. But I've actually printed out the notes from the thread, and basically I'm just going to go through some of the things that I've put a little star next to that are important to me, and you know, then obviously you will know about them. So they added new ships, the Imperial Clipper and the Federal Dropship. They've added player-driven interdiction, which is basically you can be flying along and another player can interrupt your travel within a system. So whether they are a bounty hunter or a pirate, they can stop you, scan your cargo, etc., etc. They added fuel scooping from stars. They added asteroid mining. You can now own multiple ships. The playable area is now over 2,400, that's 2,400 systems. They did an overhaul of the planet visuals. They had the planet liquid colours now reflect the chemical composition. Atmospheric colours now reflect their chemical composition, etc., etc. There's volcanic features. You can see the tectonic plates now. Let's see, there are dynamic ice caps. Just going through the UI of the cockpit here, so I'm just going to stop reading for a second. You can see there's not a lot of difference on this left panel here. And let's quickly go into the system map. I'm just going to stop reading while I look at this. This is now the playable area, which, as you can see, it's huge, but it's still not the full game. You can see Sol down there, which is obviously the name of our star, and I was quite curious as to whether they were going to let us travel to that. So zoomed in here, you can see where it is, and it is actually within the playable zone, but they have blocked travel to it. When you try to travel to Sol, they basically say that you have a drive failure, so they will not let you visit it. And what they've actually said in a recent newsletter is that in order to travel to Sol, you're going to need a federal pass to be able to get there, and everybody who currently has Elite Dangerous, who has backed it for the alpha, the beta, will automatically get a pass, whereas other players who join the game afterwards, they're going to have to basically work for the Federals or somehow acquire a pass to be able to get there. Now, Akanar is obviously the home system for the Imperials, so I wanted to see if that was inside the playable area, and unfortunately it's not. It's well outside of it. I'm just going to move the view here so you can see it's well outside there. So I assume that you know, Larvae and a lot of the other kind of playable zones that that people really played in previous Elite games are not available yet either. But anyway, as I look through the map, I'm going to just continue reading from my print of the release notes. They have added asteroid belt clusters, which is obviously where you mine. They've added nebulas to the galaxy map, nebulas to the sky map rendering, obviously. Outpost landing has become a little bit different because it's obviously not got the rotational force that a rotating station has. The status panel in the cockpit on the right side now shows faction reputations and information on you as the player. So if one type of faction within the system you're in hates you and another one likes you, then you can see that on your status panel. They've adjusted route planning in the Galaxy map. They've added more missions. You can now search by partial names on the Galaxy map, which is quite nice because I've found in a lot of games people will shorten what they're talking about. There you go, you can actually see the status tab. You can see that it's I'm neutral status with all of the local Erenin factions. And basically these are the people that are putting missions on the board. So obviously when I do missions for those people, that's what's going to change my status there. And one thing that they've actually removed from the functions tab there is the help beacon. So if you run out of fuel in a system now, you're stuck, you have to self-destruct. This is the new bulletin board. This has been updated a lot and I really like the look of the UI. It looks very, very nice. I'm just going to take you through that bit by bit. Munitions screen, repair screen, bulletin board, and you can now see available missions and available but unobtainable missions. And just to give you an example of that, this is I would have to have a space for 3 cargo, and this I would have to have a space for 6, which I don't have because I actually just have 4. So it's telling me that I can't do the mission without me wasting time looking. In the contacts tab you have the Pilots Federation, where you pay fines, bounties, combat bonds, etc., etc. are all in there now. The outfitting screen, it's pretty much the same as it was. They've just added a few details. With weapons specifically, you can now see what type of damage they actually deal. So that's quite interesting as well. And in the cartographics, the maps section here, where you can buy system data, you can now see the distance over on the right. So there's a little bit more information there on what you're actually buying and whether it's close or not. The pre-flight checklist is still in, and while I'm doing that I'll just carry on reading. They've adjusted the bounty value multiplier for various ships in the game. Now the automatic bounties should be larger for large ships. That's fantastic for me as a bounty hunter. They've added some chatter table text for convoy-based NPCs like funerals, weddings, explorers, nomads, and medical convoys. That's quite an interesting thing to think of, kind of large-scale movements of ships, and here convoys being mentioned. They've added a security level to the Galaxy map. They've improved lighting in stations, and I actually sense that graphics have been improved in all areas. I honestly think the game looks spectacular in Beta 3, whereas before I thought that the gamma settings were a little bit off. I actually had to adjust them for the previous version because I thought it looked way too bright. But you know, now it seems that they've fixed that, and you can see this planet here. This is the best that I've seen a planet looking in Elite Dangerous, and I only run 1080p, but people post some absolutely amazing screenshots that they've taken on, you know, kind of 4K monitors that just blow me away, really. They've improved the weapon effects, they've improved lighting for all ship cockpits, they've improved the LODs, which is level of detail. Basically, in gaming they use a less detailed model the further you are away from it, and basically they've improved the detail in the further away models so that you can kind of see them better, basically. They have adjusted the auto-created bounties to include a modifier based on combat rank. So, like I said earlier, they've changed it for big ships, but they've also changed it for better fighters too. So if you're fighting someone who is elite in a really good ship, you're going to get a bigger bounty than fighting someone in a Sidewinder who is really pathetic, which makes complete sense. Reputation affects faction relations. If you've got a really bad reputation, ships from that same faction will treat you as hostile. So that's a big part of it. And for me, bounty hunting, that's going to be huge too, because if a pirate faction already hates me, then I can't go in somewhere like I have been and just basically take on one guy and expect the other guys to leave me alone. It's you know, pretty realistic there. They've hooked up some generic chatter for smugglers and celebrities, and they've also brought in, as you can see on the screen right now, multiple ship ownership. So you can see what I currently have is this Sidewinder, and you can see all of the information on it, which is just awesome. And then you can see stored ships, which I currently do not have any, and you can see ship locations, which would be all the stations that I've got something actually stored in. So that's really nice. And I'm going to take you into the outfitting menu. You can see some of the changes that they've made there. But just going to carry on here. They've added chatter hooks for police, chatter hooks for miners, which will just basically add to the kind of the immersion, you know, when you're actually out there in an asteroid field mining, etc. They've added faction information to the home page, the station menu, and you can see here over on the right it says damage type kinetic. I believe that's new, and I kind of like that because it's going to be similar to EVE Online, if you've ever played that, I think, where you're basically going to be able to outfit your ship to deal a certain kind of damage, knowing that it'll do better on one type of ship than another. It's just another aspect that you can bring into your gameplay as to what you're going to attack and what you're not. Basically, they've also done target sighting should be different if your target is behind a planet, which is quite nice because sometimes it was hard to tell. Warzone rewards have been upped from 350 credits to 1,000, which is huge for me because I did feel the risk really wasn't the worth the reward there. And the AI, this is huge, absolutely huge. The AI swap tactics more readily instead of waiting until the current tactic times out. So when I'm in a combat situation with an NPC, it will more readily do something different, do something that I'm not expecting from that particular NPC. That's huge for me. It should really make fighting the NPCs a lot more interesting. They've made some tweaks to the flight model. They've changed how flight assist works more towards where it was, which is how I preferred it, so I'm quite happy with that. They've added some of the procedural generation to create smaller rings around ringed planets, and the internal rings should actually have more kind of richer resources. That's what scientists actually assume in real life too. If you watch on the screen right now as I go into hyperspace here, they've done a fair bit of tweaking with this animation as well. Both the Super Cruise and the hyperspace animations have been kind of tidied up a little bit, and you can certainly see that. The authority page on the Station Services UI is in now. The Pilot Federation page, as I already showed. The side panels are now accessible when you're in the Station Services menu. That's quite nice. The distress beacon, like I said, has been disabled, which is nice. It's a harsh bit of gameplay that I actually quite like. I like the fact that in the game you can kind of screw up to the point where you have to kill yourself. Okay, that's that page done. As you can tell with the amount of pieces of paper that I'm putting down, there's a lot on these release notes. The display icons for stored ships and missions on the system map. So basically, if you have a ship somewhere, you can see that system notification basically on the galaxy map, which is quite nice. The AI, like I said, there's a lot of changes for me facing NPC combat. Something else which is new is that now the AI will use ECM and they will use heat sinks. So basically they might now be quite an opponent. And if you look at the screen right now, you can see a planet here. It's mostly an ocean world, but you can see that they have done a lot of work on the planets, and I don't know how well it's going to come across on YouTube, but to me this looks absolutely fantastic, and I love the fact that this planet is actually dynamic. They're basically saying that this ice cap that you can see here is dynamic and will change, and will change, I assume, according to the season that the planet would actually be in. And that is amazing, and that just shows you what they're actually doing here. Okay, and you know, basically those are the major things for me. Most of the major things that you'll have heard me mention there were related to combat, because that's my thing, and I really like that they've done some work with the NPCs. And it sounds like they're making them a little bit more of a challenge, and that's something I'm really excited about. But like I said, there's so many really small and very significant changes to Elite Dangerous with Beta 3 that again, you know, they've blown me away. I mean, I work for a developer and I know how hard our guys work, and Frontier have pretty consistently shown me that they are a class outfit, and you know, they are developing this thing to where, although there might be a few issues for a select group of people with each update, which you expect with this stage of development. You know, don't get me wrong, this is expected that, you know, there will be a few beta 3.01, 0.02, 03, 04, you know, you expect that, but the fact that this product comes as clean as it does at this stage, and you know, I honestly think they're absolutely a class outfit, and really can't express that enough. So here I'm in a all-in Enterprise, which I know actually has quite a few options as far as ships and everything. So I'm going into the shipyard here. And basically you can see the Sidewinder there, the Viper. You can see the information there, and this is really nice. This isn't a blind purchase anymore like it was. You were basically purchasing a ship before based on information that you would find on the forum. and you know, now you can actually see a ship profile, which is great. I like even that it now says please wait on the menu at the bottom of the screen here now. Just little changes like that that are actually all part of the larger product, the larger experience. And here, you know, you can see mining lasers and everything like that that are all new, and that they've brought in here. Now I'm going to end the video with some clips on mining, on interdiction, and on fuel scooping. You may have seen them before because I've actually uploaded them as separate videos. But if not, continue watching, enjoy, and I'm loving Elite Dangerous, I really am. I'll hopefully be able to upload some combat videos pretty soon. So mining is new to Elite Dangerous Beta 3, and basically the only things you need is a refinery module and a mining laser, and obviously some cargo space for what you are mining to go into. Now the difference between some of the least expensive and more expensive refineries are that you can have more than one type of ore that you are producing at one time. Because basically if I fire my mining laser here, you will see little white kind of diamonds or squares kind of breaking off. Those are chunks of ore. And eventually there's another one. And another one. And just to note that this is the cheapest mining laser, and obviously it's fitted on a Sidewinder. So this does show you that mining is actually a fairly easy occupation to get into. Basically, once you have let the ore kind of float away from the asteroid a little bit, you can see what they are there. This is gallite and bertrandite, and on the bottom left of the screen right now you can see a percentage that each one has in it. And what you're looking to do is lower your cargo scoop and go and pick it up like any other canister that you might have picked up in the past. Just kind of keeping it in the center of the blue screen on the left. There we go. And it says resources unallocated, so now I have to go back to the right hand screen, go to the cargo tab. There we go, and you'll see that that had 12% bertrandite and 8% gallite, and basically you just select which one to refine, and this refinery I can only do one type of ore at a time, so I basically had to dump what wasn't the bertrandite there. So if I found anything else, such as this other gallite ore here, I basically have to decide whether I'm going to refine one or the other. And what you're looking to do is get any kind of ore whatsoever to 100%, because once you get to 100%, then you have a ton of that ore that you can sell on the market. So what I've decided to do is actually change from making bertrandite to now making gallite, because I figure that there's more of that around. So straight in front of me is another thing of gallite, so I'm going to go pick that up. And now I have 21% and I have to dump the bertrandite. So I select vent. And the mining laser has a pretty close range. You basically have to wait until it's telling you that you're going to crash into it. There you go, there's the impact warning, and now the mining laser will work. And I'm just checking each one as it comes off here. That's 8% Gallite, 13%, 12%. So all of these percentages will add up and give me a ton of Gallite. I just have to go and scoop them up first. And because I've already started a Gallite refinery stream, basically the Gallite automatically goes into that stream, and I just have to decide what to do with the Bertrandite. I'm on 92% of 1 ton with the Gallite now. And this should take me to 100%. So there we go, you now see 1 unit of Gallite over on the right hand side. So basically that's it. You hit the asteroid with the mining laser, pick up the ore coming off, decide which ore you're going to make into a ton of goods, and that's it. Basically some will be more profitable than others. That's something that you're going to have to figure out, basically time versus the reward for spending time. Also new in Elite Dangerous Beta 3 is fuel scooping. Now fuel scooping in previous Elite games, it was pretty difficult to actually do it. In Elite Dangerous it's a little bit easier. You just need to buy a fuel scoop, and you can see there I've just bought one for this standard Sidewinder. And then the next thing you need to do is go to a star, and here I'm just jumping into a system, and I know that it'll put me right next to the star for this system. And while I remain in Super Cruise, I'm just going to fly into what I guess you would call the upper atmosphere of this star, and as I fly through that, you see I increase the heat level within my ship, but I also collect fuel. So it's a bit of a balancing act. You have to be careful with the heat, and if you get too close to the star as well, you can obviously drop out of Super Cruise, and then you're kind of stuck right next to the star with high heat levels. And over on the right, if you look at the fuel bar, you can see it kind of gradually going up as I make each run here. And unfortunately, I went a little bit too close there, and I dropped out of Super Cruise with my heat already up to 150%, and that did actually damage my hull quite a bit. So what I found is kind of the safest rotation to do is to go in the upper levels there until the heat gets to about 90%, and then just kind of peel off, turn round, wait for the ship to cool down to maybe 70%, and then head back in again. And the vertical lines you can see at the left and right side of the cockpit, try to align those with the kind of ring around the star, and that'll stop you going too close. maybe one more pass here, and that'll be my tank full of fuel again. Unfortunately, I have a little bit of damage from when I got too hot earlier. But really, it's as simple as that. There's nothing to deploy. You just have to have the fuel scoop fitted and fly near the star. Simple as that. Also new to Elite Dangerous Beta 3 is the ability to interdict on other people's supercruise. And the only thing you need to do that is a frame shift drive disruptor, and then you need a target like this guy here. We're both in supercruise, and I just have to keep him in range, press the supercruise button, and then I have to keep him as close to the center of the screen as I can. Now you are the blue bar on the left, so basically right now he's winning, now we're about even, now I'm winning. And basically he's trying to evade me while I'm trying to keep him locked. Simple as that really, just when your blue bar gets to the top, you've won. The interdiction is complete, and now you can do whatever you want to do, whether you are a bounty hunter, a pirate, whatever you want to do with this target. Me personally, I see that he is clean, so the thing for me to do would be to look at a kill warrant scanner, which I'm going to deploy now, and then basically I check if he has any outstanding warrants in other parts of the galaxy. That's my kill warrant scan complete. We'll look over on the left, go to the contacts tab, and no, he's clean. So maybe next time. But what does that look like for him? What does that look like for the victim? Well, I've actually been interdicted in Beta 3, and there's also a new feature where you can try to evade it, and that's what you're going to see here. I'm just merrily flying along in supercruise, and then someone tries to interdict me, so basically I have to follow the escape vector, keep it in the center of the screen, and this seems pretty difficult to do. I am the blue bar again, so you can actually see he's winning. It's pretty hard here. Not sure kind of what makes a difference, whether if I had adjusted the speed it would have made things easier or not, but anyway, I lost. The red bar won, and it was a system security vessel just wanting to scan me and check my cargo. But anyway, that's a look at interdiction in Beta 3 from the perspective of the interdictor and the victim.